Yeah, good afternoon, students. In the previous class, we had a discussion on string handling functions. What are the various operations we can perform on the strings, like finding the length of the string, string copying, string comparison, string appending, etc. These operations, how we can perform by making use of built-in functions and as well as the library functions. Along with that, without using built-in functions, also we had a discussion on how these operations are performed on the strings. Now in today's classroom discussion topic, so we are moving on to the new topic, that is user defined functions. So we all familiar with the functions concept. By knowingly or unknowingly, we used these functions whenever we are writing the program in C language. So the compulsory function that we written in any of this C program is the main function. Fine. So now the topic of discussion is user defined functions. So the lecture learning outcomes of this today's session is, upon completion of this lecture, students will be able to differentiate the user defined functions with the system defined functions and use this functions concept, which is also called it as modular programming concept, in developing the C programs. So what are the different types of functions? The functions can be categorized into mainly two different types. One is user defined functions and another one is system defined functions. So the predefined functions like printf and scanf we already used in our programming. So these functions are called it as a built-in functions or library functions provided in the stdio.h header file. Now we are going to discuss about what is meant by user defined functions. Okay, how a user defined function can be defined. So that we are going to discuss now. So what is a function? A function is nothing but group of statements which we have written for performing some specific task. Generally, these functions are used for dividing a large program into smaller programs. A function is something like hiring a person to do a specific job for us. Every C program can be thought of as a collection of the functions. So whatever we have used, all these functions like scanf, printf, we have used that. So those are nothing but the set of functions which we have used in the program. Every program will have at least one function, that is the main function, from where your C program execution starts. So this is the syntax for defining of a main function. We already used this particular function in the program. Then coming to this, why function is needed. This function is required whenever if you want to avoid rewriting of the same code repetitively. Similarly, using functions, it becomes easier to write the programs and keep track of what they are doing. It becomes easy for us. That is the reason we are going to use these particular functions. So how functions will work? So the functions, how the functions are going to use here is generally we have a set of statements will be there, recursive functions also we have. So here this is what we are calling it as our own function we are defining, and in the main function we are calling this particular function. This is what we are calling it as a function call statement. When the function call statement is encountered by the compiler, it will transfer the execution flow control to the respective function definition, and it execute the body of this particular function. Once you reach to the closing brace of that function body, now the control will resume to the next statement after the function call and continue the execution of this main program till you reach to the closing brace of the main function. So this is how a function works in a C program. Okay. Now here, if you are coming to this program structure for defining of the functions, if you see that when we use a user defined function, program structure is divided mainly into three parts here. So this is what we are calling it as a function declaration, which is also called it as a function prototype. And this is in the main function, you are calling this particular function. This is a function call statement. And then we are defining the function body. So this is what we are calling it as a function definition. So function definition, function declaration, function call. Function declaration is also called it as a function prototype. So function definition defines the function header and body of the function. So the function header part should be identical to the function prototype, and it consisting of what is the return type of the function, what is the function name, and what are the list of parameters that particular function is going to take. These are the three important things which constitutes this function header. A function body part defines what the function logic is. Okay, so it constitutes some set of statements which the function has to perform the task. So for example, if you take this is the syntax we have given. So what is the return type of the function, function name, and optionally argument 1, argument 2, like that you can pass number of arguments we can pass here. And within the curly brace you can define the statements, set of statements you can define, which is called as a function body. For example, if you take here, void is the return type, addition is a function name. So we are passing two arguments, int x comma int y, and this is what the function body. So it is simply adding these two arguments whatever we have passed, and it is displaying that addition is equal to x plus y value, it is displaying that. So this is an example. So now this is a program to understand the functions in a C language. So if you see this, this is what we are calling it as we are defining two functions in this program, name and message. Okay, so these are the function declarations. The line number 2 and 3 defines the function declaration, and within this main function you are calling this particular name is one function, and message is another function we are calling that. So this is a function definition. The function definition is name, it is going to print rom, and message, so within the message you are again calling this name function, fine. So and then print hello. So rom hello, it is going to print this particular message function. So this is an example how we can declare the function and how we can define the function. So what are the advantages of using of the functions? So if you use functions, we can avoid rewriting of the same program logic or same code again and again in the program. So we can track or understand large program easily when it is divided into functions. If you are using functions, it provides the reusability. So, and also if you are using functions, it will help in testing and debugging, because it can be tested for errors individually in the program, and it also reduces the size of the program due to the function code, because that function code can be used again and again, and just you are calling that particular function any number of times required in the program logic. So advantages of user defined functions, if you see that the program will be easier to understand, maintain and debug, reusability of the code can be improved in the program, a large program can be divided into smaller modules, hence a large project can be divided among many programmers. Now coming to this is a lecture level practice problem based on this today's classroom discussion topic. So develop a C program to create a function which prints given message in given number of times. Suppose if you are given a message hello comma 5, then the hello message has to be printed 5 times. And another important lecture level practice problem is that develop a C program to create functions for different arithmetic operations. This is nothing but simple basic calculator we want to implement through functions. So in our example, we implemented addition function. Similar to that, you implement three more functions, one for multiplication, one for division, one for subtraction, and just you call that particular functions on passing two numbers. You can able to implement this simple basic calculator. Okay, so these are the further readings. So you can go refer this textbook chapter on user defined functions, chapter 8, and some of the reference books are quoted here. So you can refer any of these reference books for further reading on this particular topic, functions. Okay, so thank you one and all.